Buenas tanhafade todos hamzu, guahusi malias, and this is Ki Papa I Trongkon Niyok. Dunkoluna sidus maasi, as always, thank you for your time, whether you are a return listener or a new listener joining me here today. Ugof agradeci. Bueno, so like I am trying to do at the beginning of every lesson, I would like to say something that reviews what was discussed in the previous podcast. So I would like to say that gof na magof esti natotsu paraguahu. Gof na magof esti natotsu. This work it makes me very happy. It is something that makes me very happy. I am very excited about the discussions that I have been having with some of you all, whether it be through a voice message or through a tweet. I'm very excited about it, and I want to say na gof na magof. Bueno, today's topic is a continuation. We will be continuing to talk about the causative prefix na. So, tana mås meying I CHamoru-mu. If you are unfamiliar with the term meying, I was unfamiliar with it myself up until a couple of years ago. Meying means skillful, proficient. I have been told that meying comes from the English word amazing, right? Na meying, na amazing. CHamoru-mu. If you know anything about the origin of this word and I am incorrect, please feel free to let me know. I'd love to talk about it. Bueno, so na, the causative prefix. Again, just to review, it is a prefix that indicates cause that can be used in a variety of ways and can be added to many words to form many different kinds of statements. So last episode, I mentioned that it might be helpful to think of the resulting words as adjectives, to think of them functioning as adjectives. Today, I believe it would be helpful if you thought of the resulting words as verbs. So the literal meaning of what we will be talking about today would be something along the lines of to cause to be raza or blank, if you remember that from last podcast. Okay, so before we do that, we're going to do a quick rundown, a quick review of the who pronouns. I would eventually like to do an episode on the different types of pronouns, but for today's episode, we will just go through them very quickly. I will also include a link to learning CHamoru's grammar lesson on these pronouns. This lesson also comes with a video that explains, and I believe it gives you a couple of practice drills also for these pronouns. So as I said, we will review them very quickly today. So to list them first, we're going to be eating kelegwin today, folks. So we'll begin with who. Who, which means I. Who kanno I kelegwin. I eat or ate the kelegwin. Tense is interesting. Given CHamoru, we don't have past, future, and present like you would in English. So in Chamorro, the two tenses that exist are actually future and non-future, which is why who kanno I kelegwin can either mean I eat the kelegwin or I ate the kelegwin, depending on the context. But that is, I've mentioned several things here that are there are things to be saved for another podcast. So let's just keep going. Un means you. Un kanno I kelegwin. You eat or you ate the kelegwin. Ha means he, she, or it. Ha kanno I kelegwin. He, she, or it ate or eats the kelegwin. In means we and is exclusive. So that means that when you use in, you are not, and you say we, you are not talking about the person that you are speaking to. You are excluding them. So, in kanno I kelegwin, you ate the kelegwin without the person who is listening to you right now. Next one is ta. This is we, but this is inclusive. So you ate the kelegwin with the person that you are speaking to right now. Ta kanno I kelegwin. We eat or we ate the kelegwin. The next one is en, which is a plural form of you, so you all, you 3, you 5, you 7, in kano I kelagwin. You all ate the kelagwin. Last one is ma, they, ma kano I kelagwin. They eat or they ate the kelagwin. All right, so that was a quick review of the who type pronouns. Now we are going to get into our topic for today. So we did that review so that you know, if you didn't already, that you can replace any of the pronouns hu, un, ha, in, ta, in, or ma in the examples that we're about to discuss. You can replace any of them. They're all interchangeable to change the meaning of this sentence frame. So we are going to go through 3 examples today. The first will be nat gasgas. Nat, the causative prefix, plus gasgas. Nat gasgas, to make something or to cause something to be clean. So here's your example sentence. Hu nat gasgas igima. I cleaned or I cleaned the house. Again, interchangeable. You could say un nat gasgas igima for you clean the house. You could say ha nat gasgas igima for he, she, or it cleaned the house. Hu nat gasgas igima. Second example is something that you've heard before, but the pronunciation is a little bit different. So in the beginning of this episode, I said nat maguf esti natsotso. This work is work that makes me happy, but without that verb, if you remember from the previous episode. So nat maguf esti natsotso, in that example, nat maguf functions as an adjective. All right, it would be helpful to think of it that way. This is going to be a little bit different. So we have nat, the causative prefix, plus maguf. Nat maguf. This means to cause someone or something to be happy. This is, like I said, helpful to think of it functioning as a verb. So let's use un this time. Un nat maguf si Julia, or Julia, however you want to pronounce her name. Un nat maguf si Julia, si Julia. You made Julia or Julia happy. Now there's a difference here in the pronunciation of the words, the 2 examples, in the stress. So we have nat maguf, which is an adjective, and then we have nat maguf, which is a verb. Nat maguf esti, un nat maguf si Julia. Nat maguf, nat maguf. So in the first example, the stress is on the first syllable, nat maguf. And in the second example, the stress is on the second syllable, nat maguf, if you can hear that. It's a slight difference in pronunciation. People will still be able to understand you if you say it the other way. Just a note, if you would like to practice that. All right, and our third and last example is nat malongo. Nat, the causative prefix, plus malongo, meaning sick, to create the verb that means to cause to be sick. Let's use ha this time for he, she, or it. Ha nat malongo ipatgon. Ha nat malongo ipatgon. He, she, or it caused the child to be sick. Those are just a few examples. Nat, as we've mentioned before, can be used in many, 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 many ways. So I hope that this was helpful to you. Before we wrap this up, I would like to give un dankulu nakulu para si John, who sent me my second voice message, mensahin bos. Voice messages are very exciting, people, so I'm going to play that for you here because John did a very special thing and took ifinut CHamoru and applied it to pop culture. This is not something that I do a lot. Usa ifinut CHamoru para be, honestly, I mean lately, now that taigui is a guahan, usa gi internet, gi tweets and todo na siya lo in person, usa para be kwentusi sinanaw, pat sinanaw bia. So there's not a whole lot of pop culture conversation happening there, which is why it really, really tickles me when I get to hear people talking about pop culture, gifinut CHamoru. So here's John.
Hafaday Malia, this is John. Thank you so much for making, this podcast. I'm definitely like benefiting from it because as someone who doesn't quite know how to speak Chamorro, even though I wanted to get into it, I really feel like the lessons that you're putting out for each episode are just so simple and easy to follow. For example, I now know how to say ni hafafa un tungo Jon Snow. you know, so now I'm well on my way for making a Chamorro transcription for a Song of Ice and Fire. So yeah, I just wanted to stop in and say thanks so much for uh, creating this platform for people, and I'm definitely going to be sharing it with with other people who are interested in learning the Chamorro language. So yeah, thanks a lot. You're doing great.
I hope you found that as amusing as I did, especially all of you Game of Thrones fans out there. So I am thinking that every 5th or every 10th episode or so, what I've been thinking about doing is maybe making one episode Gifinut Samoru ha. So only Gifinut Samoru, because when you study a language, Mintras masun huhungog, the more you hear, the more you will learn. And there are so many discussions about how immersion is just like a surefire, fast track way to improve your language skills. So that's something I'm thinking about. If you have any thoughts on it, or if that's something that you'd be interested in, natunguto, por favor, let me know what you think, whether that be through a comment, an Apple Podcast review, or tweet. I appreciate any and all of it. Dankulu na sizus maasi to the 2 people who rated this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Usen agradeci, ugof agradeci. I appreciate all of your time today. Again, however it is that you see this podcast, if you enjoyed it and thought it was meaningful, like the Facebook page, subscribe to the podcast, follow me on Twitter or Instagram. I love hearing from you. Gof zao. And if you want to take extra time out of your day to send me a voice message, and maybe you don't want me to include it in the podcast, just let me know when you send it. If you haven't been able to tell, I get very excited about them. So to wrap this up, because we're already over our usual time, Kwahusi Malia, Sizu Usmaase para itempomu ki Papa i Trongkon Niyok.